18 or 20 years ago, when we started building tests, everything was built in English, and that was satisfactory. And there were a few alternate language forms available, but for the most part, it was English-based testing. And in a globalized economy where testing is required in multiple languages, this has become more of a standard. We now have a catalog full of multi-language assessments, and our authoring tool is supporting the same. So if I were to go into an individual test, I can support a single test with multiple translations. I can also build multiple tests to accommodate my translations. For instance, if the scoring is materially different, or there are certain circumstances where you really need the French version to be a separate test, that can be done. But for those that want to manage translations in a single form, you can do that using our languages feature. So the first thing you need to do is enable supported languages. In this case, I've enabled English, French, and German, and I would just click the drop down and click add to add other languages. There's pretty much every language under the sun is in there. The next step is that you can use our translations feature to get at what is missing. So if I look at French, it'll tell me you're missing 72 French features. And I could go into each of these cells and I can type in the French translation for WPI, for Watson Glaser, for please answer the following questions to the best of your ability. So keystroking those in. And I don't speak French, so I would have to go and copy paste something from a translation function. But that is one way to do it. Another way is you can import export. You can export existing translations into a CSV file, and it's fairly eye-readable. So I'm opening that file below, and it'll show all of the values that need translated, what the default language is, if you want to put them in French, if you want to put them in German, and do be careful because CSV doesn't always handle all characters, so there may be some encoding that needs to take place, but this is where you can push those into an Excel file, a CSV file, save it, and then upload that into the system using the import translations feature. You can also do it at the individual item level. So right here there's a globe, and you can click on that translation and say I want to do it in German, and it gives you that individual sort of feel for the individual pieces. So you can take this from a text perspective for questions and translate it individually through a file upload or through what we call translations and kind of a global view of everything that needs translated. But it's not limited to only questions. You can add this to reports as well. So in the report settings is where you would add additional languages. So English is my default language, and I could say, and it's not always a one-to-one ratio. It's not, well, why don't you have a German and French one? There may not be a French report. Everyone from the administrative side might speak English. So we'll add French here and click update. And then you'll notice some globes appear here at the individual item level as well. So you can translate this text on the report, and you can also go and hit the translations option to translate everything, kind of the same view that you had on your text question reader. So the goal of this is to support translations from a single test so that you can support questions and report text without having to build the test multiple times. Some display logic, maybe certain things don't show up. If, like, let's say this piece doesn't show up if you're using French, you can also create some rules around when you want things to show up or not show up. The display logic helps you with forking of questions, not displaying questions, and showing on reports. So multiple languages for questions, for report text, one test, many languages. It should save those global implementations a lot of time.